Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The health department logs over 37,100 new COVID-19 infections, pushing the active case count to over 287,000. Now let's talk more about this with Octa Research Fellow Professor Guido David is joining us via Zoom tonight. Professor, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Riza.
Sir, would like to ask you first and foremost for your reaction regarding the COVID-19 cases tally that we have for today. Are this still within the group's projections?
Well, it was actually lower than what we projected. We thought it would be increasing past 40,000 today, but it didn't. So anytime we get numbers lower than our projections, we're actually very happy. It could mean that there are some trends that might be already seeing a decrease in cases, particularly in the NCR, which we're closely monitoring.
Mm-hmm. Sir, with that being said, is this an indication that we've already reached our peak here in Metro Manila?
We're hoping that it is an indication, but we'll have to wait and see over the next few days. I've been checking the latest DOH data, which was finally updated since January 10th. And I'm seeing that the positivity rate in the NCR has actually been decreasing, although very slowly. It's now at 50%. It was at 54% a few days ago. Now, this is not a lot to go on, but it's something. I mean, it's better than an increasing positivity rate. There's still the possibility that the testing is already, the number of cases has already exceeded our testing capacity, so to speak. So there's a possibility that the decrease is artificial or the plateauing is artificial, but we are hoping that it is a decrease in cases in the NCR. There are some other factors that seem to support it, but we'll have to wait and see over the next few days.
Sir, the growth rate, like what you mentioned, is decreasing slowly. So, in the next coming days, perhaps this week, are we to expect fewer cases?
In the NCR, I think we could expect fewer cases. Again, it's not guaranteed. It may be around the same level, but I think today there's a good chance that we could be seeing just 60,000 cases in the NCR. So we'll have to wait and see what the numbers are when DOH releases the data later tonight.
Professor David, the government decided not to raise Manila or Metro Manila or the capital under alert level 4. Do you agree with this decision?
Well, when we check the mobility under Google Mobility, the mobility in Metro Manila as of the past few days was actually comparable to the mobility in Metro Manila from October 1 to 15. Now, on October 1 to 15, we were actually at alert level 4. So basically what we're saying is that the current mobility is about the same as alert level 4 mobility that we have seen in the past. So in other words, if we increase the alert level from 3 to 4, it may not even make any changes regarding mobility because we're already at alert level 4 mobility.
Sir, can you share with us if you have data also on other areas outside NCR? How are their numbers?
Yeah, unfortunately, the bad news is that cases are really starting to increase in many parts of the country, and this is unfortunate. We were hoping that the increase could be contained in just NCR plus, but right now with the possible plateauing in NCR and Cavite and Rizal and Bulacan, we're seeing an increase in cases outside these areas. And for example, in Baguio City, also in Region 2, in Cagayan and Isabela, we're seeing an increase in cases. In the Bicol region, in Camarines Sur. Now in Cebu City, where yesterday they actually had the highest number of cases in a single day compared to the past 2 years. And also in Tacloban, they also had the highest number compared to the past 2 years. And there's also an increase going on in Western Visayas and in the Davao region.
Sir, what is it looking like for our country in the next coming weeks based on your projections? What should we expect?
Well, if we do get a peak, or if we reach the peak, let's say in the NCR and parts of Calabarzon, that's a huge chunk of the cases right now. That accounts for about 70%. And if we even include Central Luzon, that's about 80% of cases in these three regions. So that will drive cases down, but we will be seeing an exponential growth in areas outside NCR plus. And that would mean that the pandemic would be prolonged in the country, because even if we see a decline in cases in the NCR by February, other areas may still be seeing a rise in cases. So that means the pandemic may be prolonged to February or even March.
Mhm. Professor Guido, thank you for always sharing with us your time and your insights. That's Professor Guido David of the Octa Research Group.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, the Manila LGU eyes the newly revamped Manila Zoo as a vaccination site for minors and senior citizens. Mayor Isko Moreno said Manila Zoo is an ideal inoculation site for minors aged 5 to 11 and senior citizens. He highlighted that the zoo has many open spaces where children can go around with their grandparents. To ensure that the IATF protocols are followed, Moreno said they will put a cap of at least 1,000 people per day.
Approved sa ating mga doktor itong lugar ng Manila Zoo as vaccination, open space, tas maaliwalas pa. So, kakaroon ng registration, ilo-launch na rin natin yung website ng Manila Zoo para doon magparehistro yung gusto magpabakuna.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The Philippine Embassy in Wellington, New Zealand is monitoring the situation of Filipinos who may have been affected by the eruption of a nearby volcano. In a statement, the Foreign Affairs Department says residents were reported moving to a higher ground while communication systems have been disrupted. Based on the DFA's data, there are about 87 Filipinos in Tonga, 300 in Samoa, and 400 in Fiji. On Saturday, an underwater volcano in Tonga erupted, triggering a tsunami that followed Pacific that flooded rather Pacific coastlines from Japan to the United States. Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. Global vaccine sharing program COVAX has shipped a total of 1 billion doses to 144 countries. The program, however, failed to achieve its initial objective to deliver 2 billion doses by the end of 2021. This is due to competition with rich countries that are willing to pay higher price and hoarding issues. Metro Manila has recorded its lowest temperature so far this amihan season at 19.7 degrees Celsius. Pagasa says it was registered at 5:30 in the morning at the agency's Science Garden in Quezon City. And petroleum companies are setting another round of big time price hikes this week. Unioil projects that diesel would increase by up to 1 peso and 80 centavos per liter. A maximum of 1 peso price increase per liter is likewise expected for gasoline. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.